Hello everyone, and welcome to Sunup. I'm Lyndall Stout. Today we want to start by talking about cattle on wheat and some limit grazing options with Dave Lalman, our extension beef cattle specialist. And Dave, it's that time of year, cattle are either already out in the wheat pasture or will be soon, right?
A lot of cattle have been turned out already. On the wheat that was planted early, of course, is a lot further along than the field we're standing in here. This one will probably turn out on in about 2 more weeks.
In terms of limit grazing, for folks who are considering this for the first time, explain what it is and kind of how it works with wheat pasture.
We've had a lot of interest in limit grazing work that we've been doing. The principle is that you could use wheat pasture as a supplement, and particularly we're talking about use in a cow-calf operation. So you need to have a pasture with abundant forage close by the wheat pasture, and then use the wheat as a supplement to that pasture. Or you can have a dry lot or a sacrifice pasture where you feed hay and then use the wheat pasture as a supplement to the hay.
You and the team have studied limit grazing a lot, and it can really be cost effective in several different ways.
It can be because, the principle is that wheat is really high quality from a nutritional standpoint. And if you are to turn cows out on wheat, let's just say gestating cows out on wheat all winter, and that's all they consume, they get overly fleshy. And that would be kind of a waste of resources. So you can use lower quality forage resource like the pasture or the hay, and the wheat as a supplement. But you can really stretch an acre of wheat pasture a long ways when you control the amount of wheat the cows consume.
What's a good sort of schedule for the rotation in and out of the pasture?
Okay, we think a gestating cow only needs somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 to maybe 8 hours of wheat a week. And we've discovered that, a simple way to manage that, if you have the option, is to have the water in the pasture or the dry lot area, not the wheat pasture, the native rangeland or whatever. And so then after a 3 to 4 hour grazing bout, the cows are looking for a drink. And so you just have to go open the gate and they'll come in generally with no trouble. For a lactating cow, it's probably going to require 8 to 12 hours of wheat per week. So you could do that in 3 days, 4 hours each day. You might be able to do it in 2 days and leave them out a little longer. So it can be fairly flexible.
This pasture you mentioned isn't quite ready for cattle. What's the benchmark for producers to keep an eye on to know that it's time?
Generally 1,000 to 1,200 pounds of dry matter out in the wheat pasture, which is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 to 5 inches tall. It needs to be well rooted, needs to be tillered, and so you're looking for, when they're grazing, they're not pulling that wheat up by the roots.
Dual purpose wheat and limit feeding is a couple of dozens of topics that you and the team have put together in the new Extension Beef Cattle Manual, and that's available for the public, right?
It's hot off the press, the 7th edition of the Beef Cattle Manual, 43 chapters of knowledge and a pretty good sleeping pill if you're having trouble getting to sleep.
But a great reference book for farmers and ranchers, right?
There's information in there on economics, on nutrition, on reproduction, on genetics, and beef industry issues. So it's being used by a lot of other universities in our beef production courses and extension programs around the country. So we're proud of it, and we hope our Oklahoma folks will make good use of it.
Okay, well, thanks for telling us a little bit about it, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
For a link to the new Extension Beef Cattle Manual, just go to sunup.okstate.edu.